Hello everyone, welcome to this technical walkthrough of Glocare, an intelligent point of sale operating system. My name is Sarasi Vidumini. I am a student from the Graduate Diploma in Software Engineering, 73rd batch at IJSE. I am excited to show you a full stack solution built with the Springboard 3 on the backend and modern responsive web interface on the front end. Today, we will go through the layered architecture, the transactional logic of order placement, and the dynamic analytic dashboard. This is my front end interface, and this is my backend. The backend has real time clock, total customers, total items, total orders, and total income. This is where I manage customers, items, and order placement. Before we look at things in this interface, I want to show you the back end of this because that's the most important part in this project. Let's we see my backend. This is my backend project structure. This is a comprehensive professional guide for my Spring Boot Post system backend. It is structured to follow the logical flow of a request explaining the purpose of each layer, the specific code implementation, and the role of the annotation I have used. My backend is built use a layered architecture pattern. This ensures a separation of concerns, meaning each class specific responsibility, making the system maintainable and scalable. The data flows from the client to the controller through the service layer and finally to the database here responsibilities. Okay, now we moved my custom controller package. Customer controller, item controller, place order controller. The controller layer acts as the entry point for all HTTP requests. Did you see that annotation request mapping, REST controller, required args constructor, cross origin validators, post mapping, put mapping, delete mapping, get mapping? Okay, now we will study that annotation one by one. First one is request mapping. The request mapping defines the base URL for the API following industry standard version. Second one is REST controller. The REST controller combines at controller and response body, ensuring the return types are automatically converted to JSON. Third one is required args constructor. The required args constructor is a Lombok annotation that performs constructor through injection for our service classes, ensuring they are initialized properly. Next part is the cross origin. The cross origin annotation enables cross origin resource sharing, allowing our front end to communicate with backend without security blocks. Did you see that star marks within double quote? Its meaning sharing, allowing front end communicate with backend without any security blocks. Without any security blocks. Okay. Post mapping, put mapping, delete mapping, get mapping. Post mapping created customer successfully. Put mapping, customer update successfully. Delete mapping, firstly define the ID, customer ID, and after delete that customer. Get mapping. Get mapping is fetching all customers. Item controller. Placeholder controller. Okay, now DTO packages. Customer DTO, item DTO, order DTO, order detail DTO. Data annotation. The data annotation is a Lombok annotation that generates getters, setters, to string and equal methods automatically. No args constructor. All args constructor annotation is automatically generate getters, setters, to string equal methods. The same as. And did you see that pattern annotation, not blank annotation, size annotation? It is bean validation. We ensure data integrity at the entry point. For example, we validate that names are not blank and IDs follow a specific numeric pattern. And now we mode util package. It has API response class. API response wrap-t. This is a generic wrapper class. Instead of sending raw data, we send a standardized JSON object containing a status code, a message, and the actual date. This provides a consistent experience for the front end wrapper. To keep our database structure hidden from client, we use DTOs. Okay, now let me see my service package. Customer service, item service, place order service, and their IMPL classes. The service layer is the brain of our application. I use interface to define the contract and IMPL classes to write the actual logic. If you create service IMPL class, you definitely add that service annotation. The service annotation marks these classes as a Spring managed components. And we already know that required args constructor and model mapper. The model mapper we use this to map DTOs to entities, reducing boilerplate code. And save customer, update customer, delete customer, get all customer. There are overrides. Overrides. That's okay. Okay. Order service IMPL. The order service IMPL has place order logic. This is the most critical part. The service fetch, the customer validates the item quantity on hand, reduce the stock and saves the order. This is my place order IMPL. Transactional annotation. This is a powerhouse annotation. It ensures automaticity if the system fails while saving an order. The stock reduction is automatically rolled back, preventing data corruption. Did you see that all IMPL class implement to their interfaces? Customer service, item service IMPL, item service interface. Now we move that interface classes. Save customer, update customer, delete customer, item, order, service. Okay, now we move my entity package and repository package. Entity package has Java classes, But repository package has interfaces: customer item order detail and customer repository interface, item repo interface, order detail repo interface, order repo interface. Customer DTO, entity annotation. Don't miss this entity annotation for entity class. The entity annotation tells Hibernate to map these Java classes to database tables. And noargs or logs data and ID generated value annotation defines the primary key and ensure it increments automatically. And did you see that one to many? It's defined relationships. I have modeled real world relationships. One customer has many orders, or one order has many order details. Okay, it has all entity class. Okay, now we move to customer repository. Did you that? Did you see that customer repository interface extend JPA repository customer entity long data type? What is meaning for that? By extending this interface, our repository layer gains full CRUD. I mean create, read, update, delete, like that. Capabilities without us writing any SQL queries. Same as item repo, order detail repo, order repo. Okay, let's go. Our exception package. Global exception handler, custom exception. A professional system must handle errors gratefully. Global exception handler. REST controller advice. This intercepts all exceptions thrown across the entire application and exception handler annotation. We have a specific method to catch null pointer exception, method argument not valid exception for validation errors, and our own custom exception. This is custom exception. The global exception handler has handled global exception and internal server error. Handle null pointer exception. Null value are not allowed. Handle not found exception. Resource not found. Handle method argument exception. Validation error. This is custom exception. Okay. Next, let's look at the backend application class. It is the main class. This is the end point of our system. Notice the Spring Boot application annotation. This is a Spring Boot application annotation. This is what triggers the auto configuration and component scanning. I have also utilized this class to configure my model mapper as a Spring Bean. Did you see? Public model mapper, get model mapper, Spring Bean. By setting the matching strategy to strict, we generate that my data mapped correctly between my DTOs and entities, preventing any data mismatch during the place order or customer registration process. Okay, finally, I have the application properties file. This is the central configuration of the project. Here, I have configured my MySQL connection string with a very useful parameter. Did you see that? create database if not exist equal true. This is ensure that my POS system is easy to set up any machine. I also set Hibernate DGL Auto to update, which means I allow my Java entities, like adding new fields to my items or customers. The backend automatically handles the database schema change for us, saving us from writing manual SQL alter script. Okay, did you see that's my MySQL data source URL and MySQL username, MySQL password, and that application.properties file automatically create a database using Hibernate. Okay, now I moved, this is all of backend side, and now we moved my front end side, index.html file. The index.html serves as the main dashboard and the shell for my entire front-end application. It's designed as a modern professional style interface that provides a high-level overview of the system. This is index.html. It has jQuery link and linked dashboard.js files. The dashboard.js file has customer count, item count, order income calculation, and main dashboard. Okay, now we moved my styles directly. Customer CSS. The customer CSS has my all customer styles according to customer page, and order CSS, item CSS, and style CSS. Now we moved scripts files, scripts folders. This is my customer.js files base URL. Okay, let's look at how the user interacts with the system through the front-end customer module. Using jQuery Ajax, we connect our HTML forms to Spring Boot REST API. When a user saves or update a customer, the data is packaged as a JSON object and sent to my backend. Notice how we use the success callback to refresh the table and clear the form instantly. This ensures a responsive user experience without needing to refresh entire browser page. Save customer using post method, update customer, just get all customer using get method, delete customer, first define ID and delete customer using delete method, update customer using put method, and item.js. The item JavaScript file manage UI events and perform Ajax calls to the item API. And the base URL connects the front end. Data types handles conversion between JS types and Java types, double, int, like this. And use logic. Use row binding, and DOM manipulation for smooth experience. Save item using post method. Get all items using get method. Delete item using delete method. Update item using put method. Okay, now my order.js file. This is the Most complex and critical part of my front end, the transaction module. The ODJS file manages the state of a shopping cart and coordinates data from multiple sources to perform a single automatic operation, placing an order. The place order JavaScript file has many features: data fetching, real time totals, total stock security, complex mapping, total data fetching. Use load selection method to sign drop down with the database. Real time totals. Refresh cart method calculate net total dynamically using stock security. Validate quantity less than quantity hand before loading an item into the cart. Complex mapping converts the local cart array into a nested order detail list for the DTO. Okay, that is the summary of my front end. Okay, now we will see how to run my project. Okay, application. Okay, did you see my database is automatically created? Let's check my SQL. Okay, did you see? This is my database. Use Spring Boot POS system. Now, copy. Show tables. Table customer, table item, table order detail, table orders. Okay, now we move my interface. Dashboard. Now we saved customer IDs automatically generate. Customer save successfully. If you want update, click the select the customer and update, and next click the update button and update rate successfully. If you want delete customer, you click that delete button and you can delete it. Okay, let's check that customer how to save my database. Yes, the customer is saved. Okay, now item item IDs auto generated same as customer. Quantity on hand, save. Item saved successfully. If you want update, click the item and update, and after click update button. Okay, now we update. Yes, item update successfully. Yes. If you want delete that item, you can click that delete button and delete item. Okay. Now we move my order place order page. Select customer, select item. This is quantity, all item quantities, and type if you want bind quantity and add to cart. Yes, if you want delete, click that delete button and you can delete that order details. And this is order ID ORD001 and this is order date and complete order placed successfully. Okay, now we check my dashboard. Yes, total customers, total items, total orders, and total income. Now let's we see my database. Table items. Sorry, it's my type error. Item. Yes. Item sale. Table orders. Yes, order sold. Table order detail. Yes, it's done. Okay. If you want check my GitHub, you can search Sarasi Vidumini. This is my GitHub. Repository. Spring Boot post system created post system using Spring Boot. You can check my code. Okay, I think I'm successful done my Boot project. Thank you for watching and listening this video. Thank you.